I kind of stumbled into eating on a fuel cycle in the Trim Healthy Mama plan, and I thought I would share with you what I'm eating today. It is a fuel pull day, day 4, I believe, and I'm sure that makes no sense to you if you don't follow a Trim Healthy Mama way of life. But before I get into that, my name is Lindsey. I am a stay-at-home wife and a homeschooling mom to 3 daughters. I like to share a lot of health and wellness things on this channel, a lot of what I eat in a day videos, and sometimes recipes, occasionally a grocery haul or 2. And just as a quick disclaimer, 100% of the content you see on my channel is descriptive, never prescriptive. So none of this should be taken as advice for the way you ought to live your life. I'm just sharing how I live mine. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, I would love for you to subscribe and hang out, stick around for content of this nature. So I said a few things that may or may not be familiar to you. 1, I am currently eating in a Trim Healthy Mama way, which is kind of similar to carb cycling or fuel cycling. There's a lot of pieces to this puzzle. On the Trim Healthy Mama, you've got various fuel sources, fat, carbohydrates, and you center everything around protein, and you are not to feel deprived on this particular plan with eating. It's similar to keto in that respect. On keto, I never felt deprived. On Trim Healthy Mama, I don't feel deprived. You want to eat a great quantity, a great volume of food without necessarily consuming all the fat and all the carbs all together at once. And on a Trim Healthy Mama plan, there are a couple of ways you can set up the plan to work in your life. The first way is called freestyling, and that's where you go back and forth between your high-fat, low-carb meals and your low-fat, high-carb meals, or your low-fat, low-carb meals, or you can cross the fuels together with a crossover, which will give you high-fat, high carbs, or moderate fat, moderate carbs, however you choose to do it. It's a very fluid plan whenever you are trying to get a hold of your health and your wellness and potentially the scale or your physical inches, measurement markers, and that kind of thing. So that's freestyling, and you get to pick and choose as you see fit every few hours. I feel like eating high carb or high fat right now, so I'm going to eat high fat meal. I feel like eating some oatmeal, so I'm going to eat a high carb, low fat meal. Or I feel like just having straight protein shake right now, and it's sugar-free, low carb, low fat. It's just going to be a straight protein situation, a fuel pull. And each one of those ways is sort of at your discretion on a freestyling method. Then there is also what's called a fuel cycle, where you are purposefully eating one specific way for a set number of meals or days, and then you switch it up to a different way for a set number of meals or days, and then the third stage you set it up for a different fuel type for a set of meals or days. And the fuel cycle I am currently following is from the original Trim Healthy Mama book. This one right here, the original Trim Healthy Mama plan. This book is the plan and the cookbook all in one. However, it is very verbose. It is extremely wordy. You have to dig quite a ways in order to actually get to the fuel cycle technique. In this original book, you are going to have a 7-day fuel cycle. It's kind of buried deep in here, and you have to read through a lot of fluff in order to get to it. But days 1 through 3, you are eating high fat, low carb, dairy-free, nut-free. There's some other few rules to those things, and they call that a deep S. So high fat, low carb. Then on days 4 and 5, you eat low fat, low carb, moderate protein. Those are fuel pull days. You do that for 2 days. And then on the final days, 6 and 7, you do high carb, low fat. And you really try to stick to the parameters on a THM plan where you're not eating every 2 hours unless you are pregnant or nursing. You really want to give your body a chance to take a break from eating between meals. Usually 3 to 4 hours is what they recommend. And I kind of stumbled into a fuel cycle because I was feeling over bloated and just like sluggish and a little bit drawn, like drugged down So I decided that I would go in and do the high fat, low carb, dairy free and nut-free route for a little bit, just to sort of see if that could help me out. It helped me tremendously with my bloating on days 1 through 3. Today is day 4, and I'm on the fuel pull day. So I want to share with you all the things that I'm eating today. Oh my goodness, that was over-explained. You're welcome. For breakfast, I have made a smaller version of the strawberry Big Boy Smoothie from Trim Healthy Mama cookbook. And I've also made the Sweet Dreams Cookie Bowl Oatmeal. This one is page 249. And then the Big Boy Smoothie, I just lost the page, of course I did. That one has been floating around the THM world for quite some time now. I'm on my second cup of coffee. This is just black coffee with a couple drops of stevia and a little bit of some Loran peppermint oil. And I find that with peppermint oil, I tend to need a lot less just in general. Like it packs a punch. So it makes me feel like I'm getting a better experience, I guess. Anyway, the strawberry Big Boy Smoothie is on at 414. This is the original THM cookbook, not the first book, but the cookbook whenever they divided it out. And mine is clearly quite beat up and in much disrepair, but it still does the job. I'm gonna go have this. Everything here is fuel pull, and I made sure to not use quantities of like the almond milk and the peanut flour and things like that that would push me over into S territory. So this whole breakfast is a fuel pull. I almost left something out. I actually modified the cookie bowl oatmeal. I added in about 1/3 of a yellow squash that I shredded into my my pot as I was cooking this, and that just kind of helps to bulk it out, and it gets a little bit of some veggies in my breakfast. And yeah, it's a little bit of yellow in there if you notice that. So about 1/3 of a yellow squash did get shredded into this, and I didn't want to leave that out. Alrighty, it is lunchtime. The girls are having a ball. I am starving. I'm going to have another fuel pull meal, which equals low carb, low fat. This is 3 boneless, skinless chicken tenders and about 1/4 of a head of cabbage. I sauteed all of this in a skillet with less than 1 teaspoon of olive oil. I just used salt, pepper, and a little bit of red pepper flakes in cooking this. So that's where my flavor comes from. I'm on my 3rd 20-ounce bottle of water here. And I don't believe this will cause me to be full. Once I'm done eating this, we'll see. And if I do need more food, I will come back in a few minutes. Okay, lunch was good, but I am still hungry. I have a video showing how I make this muffin in a mug master mix. I will attempt to remember to link it in my iCards or in my description box, but you know, little grace if I wind up forgetting or missing that step. Okay, so I made the fuel pull version of that for this dessert. I did not add any extra fat to it, so the only amount of fat that is in this is actually from the my DIY baking blend that happens to be in here, which there's not a lot in there, so very, very low on the fat content. I topped it with a little bit of zero fat or fat-free Greek yogurt, and then I popped these strawberries through the microwave, and this literally was just some frozen strawberries, and once they were soft, I kind of mushed them up a little bit. I'm going to add that to the top and have a little bit of a snack cake kind of topped with strawberries and a little bit of extra protein from that Greek yogurt. Alrighty, it is time for some dinner. I have here some cilantro lime chicken on top of a bed of cauliflower rice and some yellow squash. All of this is extremely low fat and low carb, and my sauce here was just made with some zero fat chicken bone stock and some water, a little bit of glucomannan powder, some lime juice, a bit of onion and cilantro, salt, pepper, and garlic powder. And then in my cauli rice, I did not put any fat in my skillet over here to cook that, so also very low in fat. My squash, I used about a teaspoon of oil for the entire amount of squash that I cooked, and we split that between our whole family, so I'm not getting very much oil there. For tonight, this is a great fuel pull on Trim Healthy Mama, aka low carb, low fat. All right, hang on, we gotta bump up that brightness. Okay, these are a couple of strawberry fruit chew type things. I don't have a recipe for these. I just kind of mixed up some protein powder, some plain protein powder, some sweetener, and a little bit of water, a little bit of vanilla, and some food color and some strawberry flavoring. And I was attempting to make some Starburst candies in a Trim Healthy Mama friendly way, but that is not what they turned out to be. They're a little bit more like a Tootsie Roll, but a strawberry Tootsie Roll, but not quite as chewy, and I don't have a recipe. I'm just kind of playing around with some thoughts. Anyway, I'm going to have 2 of these. They're basically pure protein and still within that fuel pull category. To end my night, I'm going to have the fuel pull version of the hot chocolate trimmy from the Trim Healthy Mama cookbook. All right, y'all, that is everything that I had for the day. I really appreciate you following along on this fuel cycle day 4, all fuel pull on the Trim Healthy Mama way of eating. Meals, day of eats. I feel like I put a lot of adjectives in the middle, and I'm sorry. Basically, thanks for coming along as I shared what I ate in a day, and I hope to see you in my next video.